Friends, good evening, and thank you for joining us. I am Delico Arts Artistic Director Amanda White, and I am joined this evening by our co-artistic director, Mr. Ben T.G. Good evening, Ben.
Good evening, Amanda, and thank you for being here.
What a distinct pleasure. Ben, I don't know how we're so fortunate at Delico Arts to have the kind of guests that we are able to host here at the Prague Theater, but fortune remains with us this evening. We know that so many of you have huge questions around the Main Street project and the construction and what's happening day to day, minute to minute in that project to improve the lives of the residents of New Prague. And because we also have questions, and because Delico Arts wants to be here in service to its community, we did what any reasonable organization would do who has questions about the Main Street project. We turned to the Minnesota Office of Pathway Enhancement. There is nowhere else to turn. And we are very, very fortunate that the Office of Pathway Enhancement, or MINOP, was willing to send over to have a conversation with us this evening their very own project manager on this project. So, ladies and gentlemen, friends, folks, please join me in welcoming the project manager for the Minnesota Office of Pathway Enhancement, Dr. Amelia Asphalt. Dr. Asphalt, thank you for joining us tonight.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm glad that I could be here, and it is a pleasure.
Well, we are sure glad to have you, and thank you. We know that you have a wild, busy schedule today. It sounds like you've got lots on the docket.
Yeah. We are all, we like to say, we love road work so much that we even cook with gas, because now we're cooking with gas. That's how fast things move around here. And, I'm just making some jokes. I do have a pretty strenuous background. There is a reason why I am a project manager. And so even though I like to make light of things, I am dead serious about my love for the roads.
Well, you sure must be. I mean, goodness, Dr. Asphalt, it's after 7 o'clock in the evening and it looks like you're still there at the office.
Oh yeah, I'm always the last one to go. I always I say I like to be the first one in, the last one to go, because that way I get to say hello, and I'm the first one to say hello in the morning, and I'm the first one to say good night, and that way I know that the day and the night will start off and end right.
That's great. Well, that's leadership for you right there.
Thank you. Well, I did not get my doctorate in pathological studies for nothing. I like to call myself a Rhodes Scholar. I'm just kidding. But I did graduate from Rhodes University. So it is, I do take it very seriously. And I'm so happy to be working in my field to this day. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems like an exciting time right now, particularly to be you, because I'll tell you what, Dr. Asphalt, when I came into the theater tonight, I looked out the front door and boy, things are in full swing outside.
They are, when last time I was here to chat about this, we had to cop to how slow things were going. But now things are really moving along. We're going relatively fast, which is kind of unique. We are going faster than the speed limit. and that, that's a no-no, but unless we're getting it done, which is a go. And it's kind of unheard of to do road work quickly, but I think just because New Prague, that Main Street is just so straight and so flat, we've just really been able to keep rolling along. Like, I dropped a pencil the other day that I had right underneath my hard hat, and it plopped down on the ground and just rolled all the way past Columbus Avenue, and I was like, whoa, pencil, we're not doing that section yet. Not till later, come back. Luckily somebody had a pen, so I was okay. But
Oh,
but
good.
that yeah, that is how flat and straight that is. That things can just roll along. And luckily the project's been rolling along as well. So yeah.
Yeah, boy, it sure has. Now, speaking of
Yeah.
Columbus, just to confirm,
Mm.
that's the point at which, right? The project, right now we're in phase one, or?
Right now we're in phase one, but soon we'll be oh, excuse me, my hair's being blown. Yeah, soon that is phase two. That's a phase two project. So right now we're currently in phase one. And phase one is, phase one is the fun one, and phase two is like we'll see what we can do kind of thing. So yeah, that's
Okay,
what I
that's,
like to. We're seeing if that phrase catches on.
I like it. That, I think that belongs on a t-shirt or something.
Yeah, I would wear that, but I mostly wear button downs, but I would wear that t-shirt. Yeah.
Okay, so you've been clipping along. It seems like as we're
Mhm.
watching the progress out our front door every day, things are really moving. Have you encountered any unexpected challenges as you've worked on this strip of the road?
Well, as the people that live in the neighborhood might know, we have been going faster than we anticipated, which is great. But we have run into some snags once we got down into the sewers. Things are going a little bit slower there than we thought. It turns out once we opened up the road and got down into the sewers, we encountered a whole nother race of mole people that were in the middle of just some sort of dystopian industrial revolution. And we had to go to, well, I don't want to call it war, but it was more like a dance off. But there was just so much banging on the pipes. I felt like we were in a Broadway production of Stomp or something. But I will say that it did work out. I did take some Afro Caribbean dance classes when I was at the Rhodes University, so I was able to speak to the dancers in a way, and I was able to bust out some moves, and I think we landed on some sort of an agreement, um, if you will. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So yeah, a great group of people. I didn't know this, but I went back to the census report, and they are tax paying stand up pillars of the New Prague community. So
Oh,
you
wow.
don't know what you don't know until you know.
No, I mean,
Um,
excuse my tears. Wow, I'm just really, I mean, you think we have drama on our stage,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
What
I
a
mean, I
riveting goodness. I
I
mean,
thought I thought I was in some sort of prequel to Mad Max when I was down there, but it is a high functioning society, and they have technologies like you would never know about. So, but
wow.
I did say, I appreciate, I appreciate these mole people, but we do have pipes that we gotta lay, and we got pipes, and we do need a sewer system. And they were like, "Oh, you still use sewers?" And they just laughed. And you don't know laughter until you hear about 150 mole people laugh at you. It's a real raspy sound. It kind of haunts you when you sleep, but after they stopped laughing, they were like, "Oh, you poor people, we'll step out of the way so you can get these sewers done." Which we were here at Minnow, we were really appreciative of their cooperation. So
Wow.
we're very grateful for the work being done. Yeah.
And so have they been then displaced, or will they just continue to, they'll stay?
No, no, they all have vacation homes. So they were like, "We'll go to our beach house and you just do what you need to do, and then we'll come in and we'll fill in the rest once the road has been closed back up." So if
Okay.
if you see them, say hello, but you might want to plug your ears, and if they start laughing at your the vitamin D element of your skin, because they are just a dusty gray, and that raspy laugh will haunt you in your dreams. but I'm fine. You know, I take a little what melanin is that what it, or melanomin?
Melatonin? Oh yeah, sure.
Melatonin. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. I take a little melatonin at night and I'm asleep just fine.
Oh
So
good.
don't worry about me.
Okay, good. Oh good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, hello, Dr. Asphalt. Thank you for joining us.
Hello to you.
Um, just a question since you mentioned the mole people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know, I know that
Apparently there's a lot of industrial fans going around over
there are, yes, it's very windy in there.
there.
Um, I know that there
Yeah.
was some asbestos discovered, and Mark in the chat mentioned that too. Wondering how that might have affected the mole people.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because as we know, that asbestos gets the best of us. So we take asbestos very very seriously. Back around in the 70s when they put asbestos in everything, they thought it was the thing to do. You know, a lot of us made mistakes back then. Like I had some green leisure pants and I did a whole run of pretty hard drugs back then, but I don't do that anymore. And that is exactly how we feel about asbestos. So we are getting rid of it now. And anytime it's detected, but unfortunately it does slow some things down. So we we're really working on it. We're scraping it out wherever we can find it and really taking care of it. So don't you worry. Don't you worry about that.
That's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
We do have some questions in the chat coming in you. If you wouldn't mind taking a few. And by the way, in the chat, if you do have any questions for Amelia Asphalt, go ahead and send them our way, and we'll hopefully get an answer. Garrett wonders. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm an open book, and an open book is vulnerable to the elements, but that is how I like to live my life. So.
Yeah. Garrett wonders if Minope has anything to say about all the dog poo that gets left around the sidewalks and the paths downtown.
Yeah, I'm glad, Ben. I'm glad you brought that up because we at Minope take that very seriously. In fact, we've started a subsection. We've given it an acronym, and that acronym is CRAP, and it stands for Canine Reality Anomaly Project. And the reality is that everybody goes, and including our dog friends. And the reality is that sometimes you can rationalize with your pets and sometimes you cannot. Sometimes they know when you just want to snuggle for a minute, and sometimes sometimes they're biting their own tail and they're peeing in the corner. And so the reality is that sometimes that just happens. And when it does, I like to think it's more the exception than the rule. I like to think that most New Prague pet owners, they pick up after their hounds, but sometimes one just like slips out unbeknownst to the people walking their dogs. And what we've tried to focus on is sustainability. And it's so important. We care, we just had Earth Day and we really care about fertilizing the ground. So not only are we breaking up the roads and giving new roads, but we're also using that so to speak fertilizer to enhance the sidewalk or the curb appeal, if you will, as well. Yeah, we're really using it to enhance the soil. So
eco-friendly.
Hopefully that helps. We're cutting edge. We like to call us like we are the Tesla of poop. And usually you don't put those two things together, but I just did. And that's kind of how I like to think about how we're dealing with that,
Well, that's very forward thinking. How great that
Thank you.
you would solve one problem by eliminating another. That's really exciting. Oh, geez.
Oh yeah. 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 I like to do that a lot. Like, sometimes I'll have all this excess like wet tea after I make myself a cup of tea.
Oh,
And
sure.
I said, what do you do with this wet tea? I just don't want to throw it away. It smells so dang good. I'm not just going to toss this wet tea out or compost it. No, I'm going to stick it in an old pair of pantyhose and make a drawer satchel for it. And I think everyone's happier. I know my socks sure are because they smell great. They smell like, sleepy time tea from Celestial Stories. So,
Wow.
I mean, that's a win-win if I
That
ever.
is very inventive. I bet that, no, it seems like you have this inventive spirit that crosses over into your work. That's really neat. That's interesting.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you for saying that because everyone thinks that roads are so boring. And I just wake up every day with a new energy and excitement for the potential of laying some more asphalt in a straight line down. And it doesn't have to be so black and white, even though asphalt in this portion of the country tends to be very dark, and the lines we used to paint tend to be very white or yellow depending on, but it doesn't have to be so either or. it could be wild. It could be a wild time.
Yeah, that is really compelling. Now,
Yeah.
let me ask you, another thing I was reading about,
Yeah.
something that kind of came up was something about clay tiles or clay piping from the 30s. What was this about?
Oh gosh. Now this, I don't talk about this very often, but I was an anthropology minor. And apparently this is an old steam pipe from the 30s. And that clay pipe is what they used to use before, PVC was readily available. That clay pipe is a holdover. And as we were digging, we found we found shotgun shells and lots of fringe and long cigarette holders. And I think it was an old speakeasy. So either is very swinging time. New
Oh,
Prague people are known for their party spirit, and so I think that we stumbled upon a speakeasy down there, and people were just in that pipeway whooping it up, and the steam was being generated from all the gyrating dances they were doing, and that is something that I am investigating further. But it's a very exciting discovery.
well, probably with mole people.
I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe there was a time when the above ground people and the below ground people met together in that old clay pipe and just had their own version of a dirty dancing cabin.
Now,
We don't know.
that's a party I'd like to go to.
But what an exciting prospect, and frankly historic. So we're really, but the upside is that we're learning about we're learning the rich tapestry of New Prague culture, but it also does hold up some of the production of the road work. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a question here from our friend Gretchen. Can you give us any insider information about the sidewalk design?
Oh, Gretchen, great question. I could talk sidewalks all day long. In fact, I have had a couple days where I've only talked sidewalks, and those are among my fondest memories. But I will say that I will say that this sidewalk design we've gone back and forth and back and forth, and we can't really fully sign off on the design until we get the research back of whether or not the cracks really do break mothers' backs, because that is a safety concern, obviously. And so we're looking into crackless sidewalks, just because mothers are the pillars of society, and if we don't have pillars, then we can't have Grecian type roofing, and everyone is pretty wowed by that kind of structure. So we're looking into it. I will admit, in an era of a full transparency, I have stepped on a crack or two in my time. I'm willing to say that here and now. I am willing to claim that and own that. And that was just me being, careless on the sidewalk. And so we're waiting to get the research back. But yeah, the sidewalk design, I think we're going to opt for some more curves if we can, because with such a straight curbs and curves like curves like a ripe melon, just full on curves, because with such a straight road, you want to add a visual element. You want the eye to follow it along. You don't want somebody to get bored by such a straight road. You want people to go, oh, what's happening here now? Oh, back to it. Oh, what's happening here now? Oh, back to it. And you'd think that's counterintuitive, because most people will be driving on this road and you want them to be looking straight ahead at all time. But we know from driver's ed that your eyes really should be making a panning sweep as you drive, because if you look too straight for too long, you can get real tunnel vision, and that is dangerous. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, I like that idea. I think that seems like it would be very compelling. Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, who doesn't like some zigs and some zags?
Yeah, keep life a little sweeter, zest it up a little. I like that.
It is the journey, not the destination, right? And that's
right.
That is our motto. That is our main motto for roads. I mean, let's just look at Highway 69. I mean, it's been rejuvenated. It's a dead highway. We don't need it. We have the interstate. But people like to take stops. They like to look at a bunch of license plates nailed up on some old guy's shack and go, why did you do this? And the old guy goes, I'm bored. And they go, oh, can I take a picture? And the guy's like, I don't care, get out of here. And they're like, thank you so much. And they're like, okay, fine, go, goodbye. And that's fun for them. That's a fun thing to do. So imagine if you're driving through New Prague and you see those curvy sidewalks and you go, do those sidewalks, are they curvy? And you go, oh yeah. And you go, wait a second, do those sidewalks don't have cracks? I've never seen anything like that. Let's come out and take a picture. And while we're here,
Mom,
let's get mom out and let's take a picture with mom. And then while we're here, let's explore New Prague some more. And that just helps everybody,
I love that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
very exciting. Yeah, Gretchen,
Yeah.
I hope that answered your question. I know it did mine. That's riveting. Yeah. Okay, I like
Great
this.
question.
We do have some other questions, but did you want to, Amanda, should we look at some cool picks of the week?
Oh, I love that. Okay.
Oh, cool picks. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, of course, everyone knows that with the weekly email updates, they always have some cool picks of the week. And so, yeah.
And I mean, get out your leather jackets and grease up your hair, because these picks are so cool. You're going to want to join this gang here, because this is some cool stuff. This is some stuff. When I took out my camera and snapped these shots, I was like, no, that is a cool pick. So let's roll. I would love to share this stuff.
Okay, yeah, you can just tell us, what's happening with these cool picks.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, what you're seeing is not one, but two people bent over in a big, big trench of dirt. And it's a trench, not a tranche. Tranche is a financial term, and it is easily confused. This is a trench, and and they're all the way down, and these guys they have just dug you see they got a ladder there, so that's easy in, easy out, because what they're doing is they've hooked up that blue tube, otherwise known as a hose, and they are flushing out more of the trench, and they're looking for agates. And now normally you collect agates when you're on a beach, but not these two. They are looking, it's like the gold rush of 1949. Except it's agates and it's nowhere near water, and they're just hoping for the best. And I love that pioneering spirit of I am a hobbyist myself. I have a few gorgeous agates. I have glued them to some foam core board, and they are sitting just right next to my bedstand. If you guys ever come over, you'll just be in awe. So isn't that cool?
Wow.
And
now are these folks do they work for Minnow, or are they folks who are just in town exploring? Okay.
Those are some Minnow workers. So not only are they invested in the health and curation of that new road, but they're also invested in their because if you want your employees to stay happy, you have to address the full scope of who they are. And that create we are all about balance. I know I'm here late at night, it's almost 8 o'clock at night, and I'm still at the office, but that's my life, that's my choice. And so we want to at Minnow, we want to encourage your hobbies. Oh, do you like to collect agates when it's nowhere near water, where they're not traditionally found? Then yes, by all means, you do that, and we'll wait. And I say more of that, and that creates happiness within the workers, and they work harder and for longer. And so that's what we want in the end.
Here we are again at this kind of forward thinking. That's very exciting.
Yeah. I like to think, I don't know if I'd wear that suit, but I like to. Is it Dr. Amelia Asphalt, or am I Tron? That's that's just a thing I say to myself sometimes in the mirror. Are you Tron? And then oh no, that's I believe that was Jeff Daniels. I don't know, but anyway, we all
Oh,
we.
I don't remember. I would see that movie though, Dr. Asphalt. I would see you as Tron.
Yes. And pretty soon, we're going to be zooming down that main street faster than those motorcycles in Tron any day now, because that's what's going on here. So good job.
That is really thrilling. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for describing that one. Is there another one, Ben?
Yeah. What are they doing here?
Okay, so now this is interesting. So, those, how you play telephone, and you pass a secret around, and sometimes you can pass it through a string. Well, sometimes walkie-talkies and technology are just not reliable. So sometimes the workers will snake a long tube down into the hole, and they can be like, hello, did you hear what Brandon did? And they share secrets down that tube, and then all the guys that are working down below are like, oh, I don't know if we were supposed to hear that or not. And pretty soon everybody knows what Brandon did, but it's okay, because what Brandon does, he's the guy that makes all the Mayday baskets. So we love it when Brandon does stuff, because he's a hoot. I mean, we don't know what Brandon's going to come up with. So sometimes we call it the Brandon tube, honestly, but really it's a non-electronic form of communication for our guys in the hole. And because it's such a large tube, sometimes we can just launch like soda pop down there.
Oh.
And hey, you want a country time lemonade in a can? Here you go. Fire in the hole. And then they don't have to come up and we don't have to go down. They get it through the Brandon tube. So,
well, that is so, sometime when I'm out walking our dog, I'll have to just stop by and, hello, is there anybody down there? Or drop down like maybe a snack. Yeah, Chuck. Apparently Chuck knows Brandon too. He's a guy
Oh
from
yeah.
town. Okay.
Chuck's so right. It is classic Brandon to do stuff like that. Once in a while, Brandon will just drop down Milky Way bars, and everyone's like, "Milky Way, that's nuts. What are you doing, buddy?" And he's like, "I'm just dropping off candy," because that's what Brandon does. And that, again, the spirit out there is high. The morale is high. Everyone's excited to be doing this kind of road work. It is not a dirty, mundane, backbreaking work. It's like dancing around a maypole for those guys out there. They're great at it and they love each other. They just love each other.
That is wonderful. That is
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's wonderful.
That
It makes me
sounds like we have
smile.
a lot in common in our jobs then, Ben. Are there
I
other
mean, we really do.
photos?
I have one more if we want to
Can we,
look
do we
at
have,
that.
do you have time, Dr. Asphalt?
I have nothing but time for this pick. This one's my favorite. Now, if you want a cool pick, you got to look at this one. Whoa! Look at all the action in this shot. I feel like I'm in a Tom Cruise movie when I look at this shot. Like, what are we even looking at? I mean, don't blink, you'll miss it. I mean, what is that? What are we even looking at? No, I'm just joking around. That's just some tubes and a generator that's been left there momentarily. But what I like to see, what I love about this pick is it really just locks in on the potential. I dated this guy named Daryl, and I don't think I saw Daryl for what he was. I think I fell in love with his potential. And let me tell you, his potential was SEXY. It turns out it wasn't all I thought it was gonna be, but the fact of the matter is when I was falling in love, I was excited about the potential. And that's how I feel when I look at that pick. It's like, where are those green tubes gonna go? Where do they go? What kind of machinery do you hook up to that Ziegler there? And how large is that trailer? Because it looks small, but it is quite. You got to remember how large that road is, and so it is quite large. And I'm just blown away. I mean, the ideas that these guys come up with, like, oh, let's not leave the tubes in the truck. Let's bring the tubes out of the truck and lay them closer to where we'll actually be using them. I mean, who thinks of that stuff? Who thinks of that stuff? And the other guy goes, hey, this unless you know how to work this machine, you're not going to be able to haul it out of here. So I think it's safe to leave it overnight. And all the guys are like, what? I can't believe it. Do you really want to leave this here overnight? What, whoa. What if somebody takes it? And the guys goes, I don't think you know who you're working with. This machinery is going to be just fine. And lo and behold, it is. Can you, I mean, wow. When I look at that picture, I'm just gobsmacked. I don't throw that word around lightly. I am gobsmacked. Yeah.
I mean, your enthusiasm is contagious. Ben and I we're excited over here too.
Absolutely.
I told my nieces, I said, look at this pick. Look at this pick. I said, now that's a cool pick. And they said, hey, can we have some money? And I said, okay. And do you want a tea satchel too? And they said, no, that's gross. And then they went and watched TV. But for a while there, they were really looking at that picture.
Well,
and that was a fun.
Yes, it's thrilling.
That's a fun time we shared together. Was that time? Yeah.
That's very sweet. Dr.
Yeah.
Asphalt, I know you're on a tight schedule tonight. We understand you have a meeting with the Richfield Roundabout Association. Ben, do you?
Yeah.
We do have a couple more questions we could throw out there if there's time. Otherwise, it's up to you.
I have time for a few more questions, and then you're right. I absolutely have to make my way to Richfield. Those roundabouts are forever in everyone's minds, and they just constantly have to be talked through. It's it's like it's like a polygamous relationship. You really got to have very, very good communication to make it work.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, you really do.
Wow,
You
your
really do.
job, boy, it is something else. It really
Oh
is.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Everyone sees these cubes back here and they think, oh boy. And I said, the cubes are just gray matter for my brain to go nuts. This is just what the inside looks like, but my job is really on the outside. It's dealing with what's out there. It's how do we get from A to B? And I say we get from A to B with roads, and that's what I do. I make roads happen. So
So exciting.
what's another question?
Oh, here we go. What's all the scuttlebutt I'm hearing about a monorail to bypass the eastern roundabouts? What a great question, Chuck. Yeah, that has been the word on the street, if you will. Dr. Asphalt, can you address the monorail question, that rumor?
Oh gosh. You know, I didn't want to. I was hoping not to talk about this because the monorail is not really my area of expertise, and I don't know if you can see by the look on my face, but I do have a lot of thoughts about a monorail and I'm of two minds, really. I'm of two minds. On the one hand, a fast track, but I am a lover of roads. Roads are my first love, and I believe in the power of a roundabout, but I also know that a monorail will get you there faster. So I, there is some scuttlebutt. That's actually a really good word for it. I think a lot of times we can't help ourselves but think, oh, a monorail, we must be getting swindled here. Or we all know how successful it was at the zoo, uh, or at Jurassic Park. They were not very successful there. Or I hate to even bring up The Simpsons. I mean, that the town of Springfield really got swindled there. But I will say that a monorail is an option. It's always on the table. We're always looking for ways to innovate. But from a personal stance, I would love for people to just get to rediscover their joy of the roundabout. When you put a blanket over your shoulder as a child and you just spin around in a circle and you feel so free. Like any minute you could catch a firefly and be shot off into the stratosphere. I think that's how I feel when I loop-de-loo on a roundabout. I just feel for this one moment in time, I'm completely free. Who needs a stop sign? Who needs to know who's going to go next? You just go and you spin around and you hope for the best. And sometimes it's successful and sometimes it's not, but that is just what life is.
Ooh,
So that's my take on it. Yeah.
I think that's great. Now,
Yeah.
and follow-up question, and then we'll get to Lenore's. If the where would the monorail stop?
Oh, I mean, that's the debate, right? Where would it stop?
Yeah.
Where would it stop? Would it stop on Columbus or would it keep going into phase two? And I don't know because I'm not in charge of phase two. That's Linda, and Linda is notorious for being not a very open communicator. I mean, I don't mean to talk disparagingly about any of my coworkers, but Linda, I mean, she's just, I asked her to water my plant when I was on vacation in Phoenix, and she just dropped the ball. So I have to work my trust back up with Linda for phase two. But I mean, if you do, in my opinion, if you do have a monorail go, it should go for longer than a couple blocks. Otherwise, because most monorails are a couple blocks long. I mean, they're long trains. They're
Yeah.
trains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could
Good
just get on
question,
and
though. That's
walk
something to
to
think
get.
about. Yeah, that is something to think about.
Okay.
And sorry if Linda, if you're listening, I me, I have to say it. If I think it, I say it. But we'll talk. We'll have a Milky Way and we'll chat. it'll be okay.
Great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Lenore, our friend Lenore wonders, will the sidewalk in front of Delico zig or zag? Do we know?
Oh, well, that's fun because I have you two right here, so I can discuss this with you. Now we're doing a thing right now because we want to be more inclusive in how we do our sidewalks. We want to know, do you prefer a zig or do you prefer a zag? So I can just ask. What would you like? What do you like better? Ben, Amanda, what do you guys like better?
I personally like a zag.
Okay. Yeah, zag is
Okay.
great.
Oh. So you're both zag heads, huh? Oh my gosh. See, I thought, now if you would have asked me in my bathtub this morning if you were zigs or zaggers, I would have gone zig all the way. But then it just goes to show you don't know who people are until you really ask.
Well, I'll
And
tell
so,
you, I think
yeah.
you're right, though. I think I would have picked zig, but I have learned to pick my battles. So
Yes.
let's go with zag. That sounds great.
Yeah, Amanda, and you're right about that because zagging tends to be more cost efficient and time efficient than zigs. Zigs, you really got to go zig, but zag kind of go zag, it's kind of in the name itself. It's kind of self-descriptive there. See, so yeah. So if you guys are zaggers, then I would get a bunch of people on your same side of the block to sign that, to fill out that form that we sent out, and if you could get that whole side of the block to zag, then we could potentially have your sidewalks done quicker. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great,
Did
great.
not realize that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Lenore, we hope that answered your question. So zag, it turns out.
Great question, Lenore. Great question.
Ben, any other
last one. This is the last one, and then
question.
then we'll let you go.
Will construction affect the Dojinki Day festivities? Great question, Nicole.
Oh, the Dojiki days, Dojiki days, Dojiki days. I don't know if that's the official chant or not, but that's what I like to sing to myself when I know Dojiki days are upon us. You know what? To be honest, I hope not. But I know that again, the spirit of Dojiki days will, if you got to do it in a dirt trench, and invite some mole people to join you for the celebration, then so be it. I know that that's what New Prague people do. They're very inviting and welcoming, and Dojiki days are for everybody. So Dojiki days.
Well,
I think we can all sing along to that.
yeah. I mean, I think maybe we could even, like, if there are some traditional Czech costumes or something that we could pass on to mole people, it could be a time to sort of expand our horizons.
I mean, any kind of bright colors that you could use to help, help with the just haunting gray undertones of their skin, then that would be helpful. I think they would enjoy seeing some colors. Right now, they have just kind of, dusty burlap and very utilitarian, like they wear a lot of tuna can, like shoulder pads and whatnot. It's very innovative, very cool. I could see, I could see Tina Turner herself wearing it in a video if she hadn't officially retired. I could see her rocking that,
or Tron.
But yeah, or Tron. I mean, yeah. I mean, it'd be a noisier Tron. But definitely very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. I would love to see that combination.
Yeah.
I love a fusion. I love a fusion. Sometimes I'll put salsa on some ramen, and I have a little fusion at home. It's delicious. So I can only imagine what a Czech costume would look like with some mole people armor. I think that's beautiful. I think that's beautiful, and that really speaks to New Prague's spirit. Yeah.
Oh, well, Dr. Asphalt, you have just been so helpful and so clear. in your guidance today. So boy, do we so appreciate it. Yes, as Chuck says, very informative and helpful. Thank you so much for being here with us, Dr. Asphalt. And you're on to the next activity. Oh,
I am. No rest for the wicked, as they say. I'm off to Richfield to talk more monorails. It seems like monorails are everybody's got more questions than they do answers. So I'm here to answer all these questions about the monorails, and I'm trying to get some more biking in. So I'm going to bike to Richfield. It shouldn't be too bad. I know it's a little slippery out there, but I like a challenge, and I believe in our roads. So that's me. I might just put my bike in the trunk, but I'll keep my helmet on. Extra safety is never something I shy away from. So thanks so much for having me. This has been a blast.
Thank you so much, Dr. Asphalt. Folks, thank you at home for joining us. We are so grateful to Dr. Asphalt, and we wish her a great and safe bike trip over to Richfield tonight. Dr. Asphalt, as always, deeply grateful. Jed, thank you so much for being here. If you have other questions, Dr. Asphalt has very graciously agreed to receive those via email. So you can reach out to her at dr.amelia.asphalt@Minope, that's MNOPE, .minnState.org. So feel free to reach out with those questions. And once again, folks, thank you for joining us here at Delaco Arts this evening as part of our service to our community as the Main Street Project marches on at full speed. Here at Delaco Arts, we like to handle the hard-hitting questions at times like this. So thanks for tuning in very much tonight. Ben, thanks for co-hosting with me.
Of course. Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah, what a pleasure. And ladies and gentlemen and friends, loved ones, we will see you very, very soon here at the Prague Theater. Until then.